Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Pro Dota comedy done by Luminous, and today I'm casting Empire versus Ninjas in Pajama, and this is for the ESL1 and New York Super Week, as you can see by the upper left-hand corner. This is a game 2 of a best of 3 series, and I've been told that this is a pretty amazing and close game, so I'm gonna take a crack at casting this one. And last time when I uploaded a pubcast, it seemed like I had a lot of technical issues. I think at least the resolution, or maybe not the resolution, but my recording didn't really go out that well. So hopefully I have fixed it by now, and what you're seeing is some, legit 60p FPS, 720p, 1080p. I don't know what the technical jargon is, but hopefully it looks good. So you guys could see what I'm seeing and try to work out what my English is supposed to be saying, because sometimes that would be difficult. Alright, Team Empire will be playing on the Radiant side, and Ninjas in Pajamas, who's up 1 game in this best of 2 series, is playing on the Dire side. So let's quickly look over some picks and bans. Empire has picked up Gyrocopter, Earthshaker, and Queen of Pain. And I believe in game 1, Gyrocopter and Queen of Pain was in the side of Ninjas in Pajama, who play Dire both sides. I think Radiant is the more winning side in terms of percentage, and most teams do prefer the Radiant side. Ooh, Keeper of Light, a hero that we don't see too often, and I'm fairly interested to see how this goes. The only kind of quote-unquote downside of picking Keeper so early is that your lanes suddenly become fairly predictable. You know that Bane and Keeper is going to be your dual support. There is a very small chance that we're going to see a Bane mid, but most likely we're going to see a Lina mid and Bane support with Keeper. The downside of this particular dual support is that, yes, they have a decent amount of stun, but they have fairly bad ganking. You don't see Keeper and Bane getting a smoke and finding a gank to the mid lane, for example, against Queen of Pain. What they do get out of it is a very strong kind of counter push duel, very strong fighting, and these two supports both scale extremely well with items. Keeper of Light is one of my favorite pub heroes to play in the support row, because once you get the Aghanim Scepter, you could be pushing 24/7, you fill everybody's mana, you get a ton of farm, a ton of items. I'll talk about more to see if more later on in the game if this Keeper is getting some big items. Let's talk about Team Empire a bit. They ran Earthshaker in game 1 as well. Didn't work out too well, and it was a support Earthshaker. Gyrocopter and Queen of Pain, these are fairly standard heroes as well. Excuse me. And I guess you could make the same argument that Team Empire has fairly predictable lanes as well. We're going to see Gyro in the safe lane, Queen of Pain in the mid lane, and most likely Earthshaker in the support role, although Earthshaker could be played as an offlaner. A couple bans to mention out. Winter Wyvern, I think, is a very deserving ban. She's one of my favorite heroes, and I think she has some of the strongest teamfight potential there is. Her ability to lock through BKB, whether you target the person who has the BKB or the person or the hero that is next to the guy who has BKB, it's a taunt essentially, and she's just so versatile, great at laning, great at counter pushing and whatnot. So I think she's very deservingly of a ban. And then Bounty Hunter, one of the strongest hero of this patch, and very likely to be a hero that gets banned out in the next patch. And it looks like we're going to see Era Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage is one of those heroes that, to me, it's always in and out of the meta, because Anti-Mage is never bad. Anti-Mage, one of those heroes that can farm extremely quickly, and to a point where you actually max out slots and start having trouble keeping up with your income with your slot increase. Does that make any sense? What I'm trying to say is he gets 6 slotted very quickly, and there is going to be some sort of late game synergy in the sense that a lot of times Anti-Mage will have to drop his teleport scroll to fit that 6 slot item, and Keeper of Light is nice enough to allow Anti-Mage to play without a TP, which is actually a pretty big deal in the late game. But more on that later. Ogre Magi is a hero that we see never, actually. Well, not never, but very rarely. I think the reason is because, well, there was a point in time where he saw a lot, and because of how tanky he is in the early game and how high his base regen is, which is all nice. Like, you could just walk up to a fellow support, ignite him, and just start clubbing him to death. but we've been seeing a lot of heroes like Gyrocopter, for example, very, very good against hero that just walks up to you. So I think that's one of the reasons we don't haven't seen Ogre a lot, but I'm sure there's a lot more. But in this particular game, what he's gonna allow is put that Bloodlust on Gyrocopter, give you some very decent stuns against the likes of Bane, Lina, and Anti-Mage. And speaking of stuns, right now Team Empire has 2 very reliable ways to cancel that Fiend's Grip, which is something that you always want to have in the draft. And of course, once Queen of Pain picks up her Orchid, although it's not 100% Orchid, it's a very high likelihood of Orchid because there is an Anti-Mage. So then they will have 3 reliable way of shutting down Bane. And Disruptor, now 4 very reliable way of shutting down that Bane. Handskin, who's normally the Bane player for Ninjas in Pajamas, plays a fairly amazing Bane, but with that said, he's going to have a very tough time. And it looks like an LC, so a lot of heroes that we don't generally see too much, and I'm glad that... Well, actually, Johannesum fan. Alright, I'm going to just call him Jonas, like how I usually call him. Jonas and Bone 7 is one of the a few of the players in the pro scene that actually picks LC and makes it work. Most teams, most offlaners just do not prefer LC because, I mean, she's a snowballer by design, and if she does not snowball, she really is essentially a blink suicide initiator. Worse than Clockwork because Clockwork has more range, and definitely worse than Centaur because Centaur initiates your team. So LC does have a couple of unique attributes, such as able to debuff your allies from stuns. So for example, if Anti-Mage gets stunned up by Earthshaker, you could use her Pressy attack and get your carry out of harm's way. So let's quickly introduce who's playing what era. We'll be playing that Anti-Mage. We have Hanskin playing the Bane once again, Limp, your solo mid, playing the Lina, Seal Kid playing the Keeper of Light, and Jonas is going to be playing the LC as mentioned. Looks like they're going to smoke at level 1. Meanwhile, we have Silent playing the carry Gyrocopter, and still in the base is the entirety of the Empire team, who's playing with 2 stand-ins. General will be a mid player on the mid lane, the Apathy on the Ogre Magi, Aloha Dance playing the Disruptor, and last but not least on the top lane, hold that thought, because Smoke is going to get revealed, and I think NiP has a good sense that Gyro is on the other side of trees, but Gyro is just like running straight across, and he will dodge the gank. Meanwhile, on the backside, they now see the entire team of NiP. I don't think NiP is actually going to be able to find too much. Hanskin looking for that Nightmare. He does have to beat the speed, so moving faster than most other heroes. A pretty big smoke dodge there. Would have definitely been First Blood, as Nightmare will set up pretty much everything. Well, set up the LSA, which sets up the Illuminate, and that will be it for the kill. Alright, I think the last player I have not introduced is YOLO Warrior, who's actually going to be playing the offlane Earthshaker, which in my opinion is a fairly greedy offlane. I guess you could make the same argument for LC. You need to get a lot in the early game. Get a quick Blink Dagger, a quick Arcane, although some players prefer the Soul Ring. We'll see how it goes. The good thing for the offlane Earthshaker is that you could block and guarantees yourself essentially level 2. Level 2 is not the issue here, it's what comes after. Against a very strong trialing zoning, he's going to have very tough time finding too much experience. With that said though, it's not a trialing at all coming out from NiP. It's dual bot, dual mid, at least for the time being. Hanskin did go for the Nightmare for the level 1 kind of roam into the enemy jungle. What you normally see a Bane mid is that you actually get Enfeeble at level 1 and just drop it on the Quab in that case. And Quab is going to have a very tough time last hitting it all. Considering the fact that it's kind of a 1v1 matchup, Earthshaker is going to have a fairly easy time at least getting that experience. And here comes Hanskin. Hopefully zone him out, but I think YOLO Warrior is going to hit himself to 2.5 to 3 very reliably and start being able to pressure mid with his Fissure and whatnot. This bottom lane is fairly interesting. They don't exactly have any synergy coming out from the NiP, like what you can do mana leak into right clicks. They do actually have a lot of AoE burst damage, and one thing that the Dire team has going for them is that they could shove the lane very hard into the Radiant side, hopefully making Silent miss a couple assets. Silent hanging around with a lot of HP missing, and takes yet another... Oh, is he actually going to die here? I don't think the level 1 overwhelming odds is going to get the kill. In fact, they're going to make it go on Johannes Fan. A lot of burst damage coming in, but he does have press the attack. No, he does not, excuse me. The nuke damage, it's only a level 1 nuke on both way. and they'll drive him back. Trading resource like this, I think, ultimately favors NiP, because when you're running a defensive tri-lane, you expect to zone both of these heroes out and definitely prevent LC from even seeing the creeps. And I think that is one of the weakness of well, running a melee support. Although Ogre Magi to me is not exactly a melee support. Even though he's melee, he kind of could zone people out. But unfortunately, they're having a lot of trouble zoning out this Keeper of Light as well as LC. Hard to actually trade right clicks with LC, even if you're Ogre, because if you proc a Moment of Courage, she gains so much health. It's not a favorable exchange for you. Yellow Warrior, as expected, getting a ton of experience on the top lane, and you know, right now doing a very good job juking Hanskin. Should see him now, I believe. Yeah, it finally sees Yellow Warrior, but this lane just has no killing power. In fact, Yellow Warrior is actually gonna just give him the beatdown. Alright, selling him back out. Alright, so I didn't watch too much of game 1, but one thing I did notice, the game 1 matchup was an SF versus Queen of Pain mid, and Queen of Pain was handled by Limp. So you might be saying, alright, Queen of Pain in that matchup will destroy SF. Well, the surprising thing was that General was winning that lane very handily, so maybe Limp was not very familiar with that matchup. So I thought he was maybe the less mechanical mid, but in this particular game, he's showing that, hey, Lina is, to me, the lane dominator here, and Limp is showing that he definitely can dominate against this Queen of Pain. Outranges the Queen of Pain, out-nukes her in the early stage of the game, and out-CSs her, leading by a healthy, actually only leading by 1 CS, well, 1 or 2 last hits, but actually losing on the deny. General taking a lot of damage here. LSA in 2 seconds, the shortest blink range, and starts bottling up. Alright, so it gets out of harm's way. I think a lot of it has to do with Lina being such a powerful hero as well. So in terms of the overall CS, it's fairly even, but I think the biggest gainer is the both offlaners. Earthshaker needs a lot of gold and experience to get things done, but I think LC being able to get to a healthy amount of last hit as well as experience is the key thing for him. Alright, minute 4 Rune. Looks like it's going to be secured by the Dire side. I feel like NiP's movement has been overall more effective. I think the 2 Radiant supports have... I want to say they tried to move mid a bit, but at the very least, nothing was accomplished. Limp hasting forward here. They also have support coming in from JohannesFan. They see General. He's very low. He's going to blink away. Long blink range. Are they going to give chase? Limp is hasting under the tier 2 tower. He doesn't care. He's looking for LSA. No, the Dragon Slave is going to get the kill. That's the first blood. Not the most standard of all first bloods. And you could technically say that JohannesFan did help with the gank, because he did force a blink away. But good understanding of the fact that he can go in and get the kill. Was a pretty ballsy play though. If I know Earthshaker was off the map, I'm not sure if I want to make that play, but Limp maybe getting a little bit of info from his allies that, hey, Earthshaker is missing. Or maybe going back to base or whatnot. So Limp now securing a huge advantage in this mid lane, and Shaker's coming to gank. Or at least tries to. I don't think Shaker by himself is enough. I need a little bit more. And Silent is also going to start having trouble as he's running out of regen. Although, I think Sealkey is going to be dead. They will have Glimpse. It's a level 2 Glimpse. Right into those trees. Right into that Fire Blast. As well as the Rocket Barrage. Great kill being secured here by Empire. With that said, I think NiP is still favored. Picking up that First Blood. Lina getting a big bounty on that First Blood kill. And working towards the Yules. And more importantly, JohannesFan. Level 4 already. We're going to see that NiP hopefully will give JohannesFan a little bit of space and let him get to that level 6 in Blink Dagger. With that said though, normally when you have a team with Anti-Mage, you can't really give them space because Anti-Mage needs more space. So I'm not sure exactly how JohannesFan is going to catch up. And I think that's really the issue with LC as a hero. She is supposed to, I mean, for example, if you compare to a Centaur or a Clockwork, once they hit level 6, at least they have some, team killing potential, or sorry, ganking potential. LC, not really. Like, even when she goes for a gank, you need to set up 40 LC, and that's not exactly what you're looking for when it comes to offlane ganks. So, this is why I'm personally not a big fan of this particular hero. Looks like we're going to see the supports finding Empire. Yolo Warrior does get off a fissure, unfortunately, right before he dies. Limbs picks up yet another kill. So that's going to be power treads if he wants it. Arcane Boots will be nice for the early get-go, and later on you could disassemble it for a bigger item, but I think maybe she's gonna go straight for Yules, sitting at 1,000 gold and a couple of early game basic items. Era, no upgrade to power threats yet, still has the Ring F health, although he's very close to the power threat if he wants it. Tier 1 tower under kind of zero resistance coming out from Empire. And this is how really game 1 started as well. Empire was kind of under the gun early on. NiP to me looking like the stronger team. Has more solid rotations, making the ganks work. Lina is doing a lot as you expect. And Lina just made her first purchase. Looks like it is going to be that Staff of Wizardry going into the Yules straight up. And I don't really need to explain why Yules Lina is so strong if you've been playing pubs, at all in the last 6 months. But, it just gives her a lot. Looks like we're going to see a little fight on the bottom lane here. Calldown's going to drop and do a ton of damage. Ooh, Dragon Slave not clipping. And looks like that TP really not going to do too much. Limp, quote-unquote, being forced to go to bot lane. Did not save Johanna's fan, but we'll farm up this lane. And I think that's what Empire is going to be going for. Making sure that Gyro gets farmed and making sure that Queen of Pain gets farmed. I think overall they're getting out farmed right now. As we could check the net worth, NiP is leading very healthily. But they have heroes that could turn a team fight very easily. We're looking at some big AoE Sonic Wave, Call Down, Fissure, as well as the Static Storm once Disruptor gets level 6. So if Empire could coordinate their team fights, they could win team fights very, very easily. And when you have a lineup that could win team fights very easily, you could be afford to be behind, what, a couple thousand gold, I imagine. Not even. The net worth is very, very close. Denied. It looks like they're going to try to make a gank on the mid lane. During daytime, it's going to be somewhat difficult as creeps will see across the river, across the ledge. And Limp on that Yule Scepter check. It's more than halfway there. Yeah, so earlier I was beginning to talk about why Yules is so good for Lina. Gives you the movement speed, so you could walk up and Yule somebody up, and once they're up in the air, you could time your LSA very easily. And then you have enough burst damage to seal yourself a free kill. Just about anybody. And normally against heroes like Queen of Pain, who relies on Blink to save herself, well, her Blink animation is slow enough where you could time an LSA to hit right after that Yules. And of course, the extra mana regen is not a bad thing when it comes to flash farming in the jungle. Speaking of flash farming in the jungle, looks like Silka is doing a little bit of that. He's got himself 1,200 gold. I wonder if he's going to go straight for Aghanims. Buys the ward, still sitting at 1,200. Aghanims will be good. Meanwhile, Power Treads as well as Perseverance is up for Anti-Mage. I imagine Anti-Mage is going to get a very early Battle Fury timing. It looks like we're going to see that point booster early. I love Aghanim Scepter on Kato, and once he gets it, we'll talk about how the game can be played a lot more differently from NiP side. I mean, again, something I mentioned during the draft. Anti-Mage, for example, don't need to carry teleport scrolls. But that's a little bit later in the game. Oh, we're very close to that Yule Scepter. Oh, looks like Limp might get glimpse skanked. Johannes Van Dam might actually tank the gank here. Limp going straight into the Roshan pit, and I think he might die. He does drop his nuke, but Static Storm will silence him. The duel did not come off in time. Limp's gonna die, and so is Johannes Fan. Winner is gonna go to Silent. They earned it up. They want him to get the kill. And Era being able to port in, beat by Keeper of the Light. Mana Void has been used. I believe General should make it out fine. Blinks forward. They have Brain Sap in 1 second, and he has Blink the Fissure, making sure that Anti-Mage does not get the kill. Oh, Blinks. Yeah, no Mana Void. And Anti-Mage, not exactly the scariest hero early on because of that. So yeah, we are seeing the early Keeper of Light teleport starting to be more effective. I think a lot of people, when they see Keeper, they don't really think about his ultimate. But, obviously they think about Chakra Magic and Illuminate. But the fact that you could just port your carry in like that, and then having him to teleport, or in this case, blink back top, because Anti-Mage is so mobile, that he doesn't really lose anything for joining fights. Looks like a kill was missed on the mid lane. Very important that Empire is being able to pick up multiple kills against this Lina, and she is so close to that Yule Scepter, because once she gets at Yules, heroes like Gyrocopter, heroes like Queen of Pain cannot walk on the map alone anymore. They will need the Shaker or the, for example, the Disruptor to back them up. So these kills are very, very key. In fact, they're going to go right back to the T1, smoke again, and perhaps look for that Lina again. I would make the argument that killing Lina multiple times right now is more important than killing the anti-mage. I mean, anti-mage obviously is the hardest carry, and killing him is important. And they do see Era right now, Thunder Strike, and there is no way he will make it out. Era, well, he was able to participate in the kills early, but now he is going to get burned down. Are we going to see any kind of rebuttal coming up from NiP? TP out here from the Apathy, he'll make it home. It looks like Aloha Dance make it home as well. And not only did they get the anti-mage kill, they also drew like 3 or 4 teleports from the side of NiP. Very good recovery from Team Empire. The execution is beautiful. And look at the goal lead is practically down to 0. And of course, all that meanwhile, we see General getting himself quite a bit of gold and picking up a couple items as well. I believe this is going to be a Yule Scepter for himself? Question mark? Well, Yule Scepter is going to add to the team's ability to cancel that Fiend script, as, you know, use them up, and there goes the grip. Also, it gives yourself a very reliable way to get out of the Yule's LSA combo. You get Yules, and then you immediately spam your Yules button on yourself. Nope, never mind, not going to be Yules. Going to be Aghanims, so. For Queen of Pain, I think there's generally 3 very common standard item builds. It's Aghanims, Orchid, or Yules. Yules probably being the least common of them. You generally get a Yules, for example, if there's a Silencer on the enemy team, but looks like LC is thinking about jumping in. Speaking of this LC, I talked about how her early start is nice and all, but she really hasn't been able to do anything, and that's really the problem with the hero. But NiP is making up for it by having the anti-mage of our heroes being a little bit more mobile. So what you normally see is, you know, the rest of the team making space for the anti-mage, but right now anti-mage is making space, and Smoke is gonna break. Aloha Dances right here. Does he see anybody? That's a question. No, Apathy runs right into the trees and then gets called back in is LC. Multiple boards being dropped. And the Apathy, oh no, he gets picked up by the Eels. And he should be dead, but Static Storm on top, and so is the call down. A lot of ability being missed. They're gonna zone right here, limp right back, and the Fissure, as well as all the nukes, is gonna get the kill. Silent is gonna get nightmared up. Is anybody gonna debuff the silence? Yes. Or sorry, debuff the sleep, excuse me. Hanskin trying to make the TP out. Unfortunately, will not be able to do so. Anti-Mage looking for a big mana void, unable to search for anybody. Really great defensive play here coming out from Team Empire. This team coming up alive. Ooh, and looks like we're gonna see actually Sonic Wave missing because of the glimpse, and that's a pretty big cooldown to be missing. But they get the kill regardless. Johanna's fans coming in looking for a duel, but not sure if that's a duel that she should be searching for. Alright, because of all this fighting, Era has not been able to get that Battle Fury yet. And now I think it's time for Era to just AFK farm a bit. Well, he actually has Battle Fury right now, so it's not exactly the worst of time. In fact, it's actually a very good time considering that he's joining these fights. Alright, now we're gonna see, hopefully LC get some room. Because this LC, without that blink, and the blink is only the first step. It's not like we're Earthshaker, you farm your blink in the off lane and you're like, okay, I'm done. And by the way, that Earthshaker is very close. LC is one of those heroes that you find a blink, that's just a prerequisite. You need to find like 3 or 4 dual wins right afterwards to become a relevant hero. Because, I mean, if you just want to blink single target disable somebody, I think Axe is better, right? Like, the thing that you get from LC is the fact that she could get very tanky, the fact that you cannot ignore her in the fight because she deals so much damage, and, you know, general utility things like overwhelming odds, press the attack, etc, etc. And right now, Johanna's fan is not having a good time, to say the least. Meanwhile, Team Empire, I think the score was like 2-5 at one point. Actually, we could find out. The last, what? 6-7 kills has been on the side of Team Empire, so they're doing a very good job. Hanskin dropping some very deep wards, kind of playing with fire here. He will scout out this fairly large stack of Ancients on the side of Radiant. And meanwhile, Queen of Pain has not exactly slowly, but very surely crept up to some very big items. Hanskin, whew, he's kind of in there. Is he going to pop out and try to make something happen? I don't know if he wants to do that. I believe Johanna's fan is going to get glimpsed right back into a Static Storm, and he's going to be definitely dead. Immediate Nightmare. He's trying to get a Nightmare off. The grip goes on the Apathy. They blow him up immediately. Hanskin on the front line here. Well, now in the back line. Era now being brought back out. They're going to try to bring down the General. Well, Anti-Mage got to bring back... No, he does not bring back out. In fact, it's going to be Queen of Pain that gets back out. And now there's a glimpse backward against Limp. Limp is going to get Sonic Wave to get popped. So that was a 4-for-1 exchange, and all they got was the tanky Ogre Magi. Now in that fight, we'll give Earthshaker his blink, will allow Queen of Pain to finish his Axe Scepter, and more importantly, we'll give Gyrocopter a lot more room to farm. So a very dubious position for NiP to fight. I mean, this chokehold is not where you want to fight, especially right under a Radiant Ward, and not especially after Johannes Fan got glimpsed into initiation. So it's somewhat questionable for NiP to take that fight, thinking that they come out ahead. Maybe the Bane on the back line was able, gave them the sense of security that they could take that fight. I mean, Bane is actually one of the strongest team fighter if he can be ignored and do what he does, right? Essentially, you're disabling 2 heroes. Unfortunately, he never found a Nightmare on the Queen of Pain, and then he just straight up gripped the Ogre Magi, which was nice. They got a quick kill on Ogre, but... And then what, right? Lina used her Laguna, then Anti-Mage tanked everything, and he's not at a point where he could tank anything, so... It's not looking good for NiP, but NiP has one of those lineups that could rat very easily with Keeper of the Light. They have Anti-Mage, so they could definitely make the comeback. And right now we're going to see that kind of a very standard transition of a Manta style next. My biggest focus and my biggest concern is, when is Johannes Vance going to be joining us, right? Like, so far he hasn't really played Dota. He's in this Dota game, but not really, right? So that's what NiP has to work on. And I think Empire, they're fine. Most of the time in these engagements, they're actually just punishing the overall, the over-aggression of NiP. Remember, NiP choose to fight here, they drop the ward, immediate quick sentry, so very well weird by the side of Empire. And then another fight here where the Empire support drops a high ground ward and they see the whole fight. So I think overall, NiP is kind of fighting it a little bit wrong. They don't have the necessary items to fight into Empire. And now with a couple of lost fights, Empire is kind of leaps and bounds ahead when it comes to Empire. Aloha Dance will have a Glimmer Cape. And once you see a Glimmer Cape on the Disruptor, and of course a Blink on the Earthshaker, there's no more fighting into them. Like, you're just fighting into a Blink Echo on Static Storm. It's just going to be too difficult. So I imagine this game is going to slow down a little bit because NiP will not choose to do more ganks. Or at least not full-scale team fights. Maybe they'll keep ganking, but it's going to be like, you know, 2-man, 3-man smoke gank for isolated target kills. Boosh. Look at that farm. Nicely done. Now come to think of it, NiP has a very greedy lineup. I already talked about how LC is very greedy. Keeper is also a very greedy support. I mean, you're running a support, so far 20 minutes in game, he doesn't really have a true reliable stun. I mean, yes, there's Blinding Light in Mountain League, but not exactly the most reliable form of control. And it looks like this tower is going to get taken down as a result as well. Mid tower era is going to get out of there. One thing to mention is that Disruptor is actually very good against Anti-Mage. Most of the time Anti-Mage is like, alright, you hit me a couple times, I blink out, but not when there's the Thunder Strike on you. You blink out, and as long as you're within, what, 16 or is it 1800 range? Some absurd big range. 1800 range. You're gonna get Gun Slack, and you can actually die. Ooh, Apathy coming in. Not gonna do too much. Alright, so we do see both teams, instead of fighting, they're just grouping up and essentially trading towers. Anti-Mage doing Anti-Mage things top. Mid tower, though, did get pressure down by Silent, who is actually pretty ginormous now. Has a SMY fairly early, has the Helm of Dominator. I imagine BKB is going to be the item of choice. Although, actually, maybe this is not the best BKB game, because once Lina gets her Aghanims, BKB Magic Immunity, I mean, it'll block the LSA and Dragon Slave, which is a big part of damage, but it won't block the big burst. And you could get out of the Yules combo fairly effectively. But Anti-Mage right clicks, as well as LC control, maybe BKB is not the best. I don't know. I think early on, actually, Anti-Mage, a big part of his damage output is the Mana Break, and most of it is magic damage. Oh, the quick blink! Unfortunately, blink right into LC. Is LC gonna get some dual damage? That's a question. He's looking for the dual. There's gonna be... Okay, duel him. Alright, okay. Winner! And he is not close to that blink still. Oh. Lina finds a solo kill. As Aloha Dance tries to get a little bit greedy with the deep ward. I guess it worked out a little bit better for him that he died before he dropped the ward, because that ward is definitely going to get checked and likely to be countered if he did drop one. Alright, there's that Yule Scepter on Queen of Pain. So, opted for the Aghanim Scepter first, because they were team fighting a lot harder early on. The extra HP is nice. Anti-Mage blinks back out. And now that she's got that big HP pull, the big ultimate. Ooh, okay. Johannes fan just give him one swipe and walks back. And now that she's got her big ultimate, having a little bit of defensive item, and more importantly, having the mana regen is going to be nice for spamming that Scream of Pain to get a little bit of farm going. So I wonder what the game plan is for Team Empire. We talked about the game plan for NiP, which is very clear. Get LC farm, get Anti-Mage farm, make sure that the Aghanim is the finish on Keeper of Light, who is actually more than halfway there. In fact, he's almost got it. What is the game plan for Team Empire? They got some very strong mid-game items. Is it time to group up and push? Grouping up and push is a good strategy, but you're up against Anti-Mage, who honestly pushes faster than you do. Because he could blink around, he could cut off creep wave, and you know, he honestly cannot be ganked unless he gets glimpsed by Disruptor. And so far, we have not even seen Disruptor near era. Seems like NiP is okay with the pace of this game. They want to trade towers. They don't really want to defend. They don't really want to fight because they are in an item deficit. Oh, double smoke, a little bit of miscommunication, and they run right into Disruptor. Oh, Static Storm being missed completely though. Huge Echo Slam and Sonic Wave. Two heroes dead immediately. They want a little bit more, and they are going to get more. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage on the back line, not going to get anybody killed because of the Glimmer, and now Era blinks back out. On the back line here, I believe Duel was not used, and that will be it. So not only was it a 2-for-0 exchange, you gotta keep in mind that NiP popped 2 smokes by a mistake. And as a result, I believe Radiant is going to go straight into the Roshan pit. Glimmer Cape, I believe, saving the lives of somebody from that big Mana Void. And yeah, they definitely have the damage to take down the Roshan. Gyrocopter is going to go straight into an Ultimate Orb. Wonder what this is. I think Linken's this early in game is a little bit YOLO. I'm a big fan of Linken's on Gyro in general, especially against things like Bane and LC. But yeah, maybe a little bit too early. Mantis Owl is okay. Actually, Mantis Owl is very necessary, you could argue, because you can get rid of the blinding light with the Mantis Owl, and overall allows you to farm a little bit faster. Or it could be something weird like Scotty, makes you a lot tankier, which is not bad. Era doing Era thing, but he's gonna get glimpsed right into the Queen of Pain. Was there a Static Storm? There is no Static Storm. In fact, well, there is no Mana Void either. So there's really no way to get a kill. Meanwhile, ooh, he's invis to have detection. That's the question. There is no detection available. Immediate Nightmare, and NiP is going to be trying to retreat, but Glimpse, cool down in 2 seconds. They get vision on Johannes fan. Glimpse, and he's back in here. This time there is a Static Storm. Johannes fan will die here. It's a continuous trend here for Johannes fan. I may sound like I'm hating on the guy, but I'm actually a big fan of Johannes fan. But unfortunately, he's just not having a game. Ooh, big Mana Void. Alright. Not only does he get the Aegis, farm 3 creeps. A little bit of added value. Alright, so Limp going for a Yule Scepter build on Lina. So there's kind of like plus and minuses on this Yule Scepter. Obviously, you could walk around a lot more confidently and start looking for solo kills. And given the fact that Empire, well, at least NiP wants to play this game a little bit slowly, right? They're not going to be team fighting that much. I think if you're looking to team fight, Aghanims is a better item because you get tankier, you could zap people much harder. But if in a more slower game like this, where both teams looking to farm more, I think having the Shadow Blade to look for solo kills is definitely a very reasonable item. With that said, though, it will slow you down. Actually, not slow you down in the sense that. Well, if you get the kills, it's not slowing you down because you're getting items, right? What I'm trying to say is that it's a fairly risky item proposition because when you get that Shadow Blade, you're expected to get kills. Because this is a pretty pricey item. And if you're not getting these kills, I don't think this item is just worth it. Looks like Lina's... Is he going to TP out? No, he's just hanging behind that Anti-Mage. And Area's just doing Anti-Mage things, although he might be a little bit trouble. No vision on him. Lina runs right into a sentry. Oh, Blink Echo, and I believe Limp is dead. I mean, I said it earlier already, but Empire, to me, the supports, the warding has been extraordinary. I mean, preemptive sentries. And you could say it's just a little bit unlucky for Limp, but it ain't a coincidence that the Radiant support has been doing an excellent job of covering wards, where the fights happen and where the fights could happen. With that said though, NiP is just out split pushing them, thanks to mostly anti-mage. And now Johannes fan with the Blink Dagger, not only is it a great initiation tool, it's a great split pushing tool. And he's split pushing on the top lane. And it actually was a Scotty. So, I mean, the thing about Scotty is, yes, it gives you more HP, but Gyrocopter is a very low range hero, so the frost attack is not going to be too effective. Well, that said though, there are a couple of melee heroes on the Radiant, or excuse me, on the Dire side. More importantly, it makes you much tankier. That's a key thing. Ooh, Johannes fan popped right out in the duel. In fact, he's dueling right on him. I'm not sure if he's gonna win the duel, but he is gonna let his team come in, and then they're gonna get back out. All right, that duel a little bit overzealous, and Hanskin's gonna get picked off as well. Oh, okay, well, nice nightmare. Okay, the kill now goes to the Ogre Magi instead. Again, another fight where NiP just really overextends, thinking they could win these fights. I'm not sure, man. You can make the argument that if they coordinate that a little bit better, again, great warding, scouting the Lina in the deep jungle. You can make the argument that if the rest of NiP was a little bit quicker, they could have got that pick off, and maybe that would have turned the fight, but I don't know. They did choose the fight when Echo Slam was on cooldown, so maybe that's the particular reason. And right now, Empire understands it being kind of ratted, at least on the bottom half of the map. Empire's like, you know what, let's just push towards your side of the map, starting to get some damage on this T2 top. And maybe Gyrocopter, he was looking to steal an Ancient Stack, there was not one. And Team Empire is getting a lot done. Force Staff is the pickup here for for Earthshaker. Bottom lane looks like a couple of anti-mage illusions got trapped. Oh, Limp though. He's gonna try to LSA, they're gonna try to burst everything down, but he's extremely tanky thanks to Scotty. Of course, thanks to a well-placed Glimmer Cape, and now Era is gonna get brought down as well. NiP overcommitting, never mind that huge Echo Slam coming out from the Mana Void. And the ensuing Illuminate gets a big part of those kills. And speaking of Illuminate, this look at this farming. Nice. This Keeper of the Light has a ton of gold. 3k gold. I think the team needs a mech, considering how these team fights are going. Force Staff is not too helpful, considering how quickly everybody dies, and you cannot Force Staff out of kinetic field. But he's gonna get a Force Staff. Okay. I mean, Force Staff is always a good item. I'm not saying it's a bad item, but I'm thinking maybe there is gonna be a better item. Who knows? Force Staff's also not that useful if there is a disruptor you're trying to deal against. You are gonna just get glimpse back, so very curious on this item choice. I think maybe Glimmer Cape might be better as well. Just kind of reducing some of that magic damage. But Seal Kit knows better, so we'll see how the item works out. Alright, LC has a grand total of 10 dual damage. This is why, if the hero doesn't work, you know it doesn't work. It's just one of the higher risk reward hero. And right now, very little reward. Era so far playing rather good. He's the linchpin, or not linchpin. He's the thing that's keeping his team alive, in my opinion. The reason that we don't see Empire starting to high ground is that Era has been doing a very good job of exerting pressure. Ooh, Hanskin is dead. Alright. Now Era sees his teammate get scanned on the mid lane and gonna immediately go bottom split pushing. Team Empire, somewhat unsure of what they need to do. Smoke is gonna be used. What are they smoking into is the question. It's fairly obvious if you don't see Empire pushing, right, on the mid lane. And then Dire knows that they can't play as aggressive, but it's a trap. They want to do something. Queen of Pain blinking a little bit of aggressively. TP out. Fissure, fissure, fissure. There's a fissure. Oh. Yule's, well, the blinding light gets him out, but wow. Overcommitment much? Perfect. Bottom anti-mage. No, don't want to go in there for the kill. An anti-mage is going to go for a heart. Makes himself somewhat unkillable. Yeah, I said that the rotation from the NiP has been much more effective early on, but ever since then, it's been Empire all the way. That said, here comes a little bit of gank attempt. Do they have detection is the question, because he's got Glimmer Cape. Glimmer? Ooh. Good tango through, or not tango through, was it a Battle Fury cut through the trees? Gets a free kill. And these free kills will start to stretch Empire, because this happens when there's a kill. And more importantly, that's the Disruptor dying. Disruptor is the only answer against Anti-Mage. Simply, the Radiant team don't have the lockdown. I mean, they could Blink Echo, I guess. But apart from that, they really don't have a way to deal with this Anti-Mage. Meanwhile, Limp walking away from the gank here. And Empire Silent picks up some damage item in the form of Monkey King King Bar. In anticipation of that butterfly. So overall, ooh, hold that thought. Looks like a fight is going to go on. Johannes Fan pops a blame out. He gets forced that back out. And, oh, General gets forced that back in. Mana Void's going to bring down Craw. And so will the right clicks. And now they get a duel on Silent. Silent is going to get brought down winner in the form of Johannes Fan. 3 kills? Well, they've lost every fight beyond this, or up to this. But they win a big one because it's right outside the Roshan pit. And, of course, Keeper like healing everybody as they go along as well. This might be the turning point of the game. Heart finish on Era. Johannes Fan will have to go to pick up yet another item. Maybe they even give it to the LC. No, they just give it to AM. AM's... I mean, even though AM's much harder to kill, AM's also the much more important hero. You could lose you could have LC die and still win the fight because AM's right-clicking. You don't win a fight if LC dies. Or sorry, you don't win a fight if AM dies. Uh-oh, Aloha Dance. Okay. TP out. No detection. Wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah, the fade time of Glimmer Cape is pretty ridiculous. It's almost instantaneous. Ah, so is this a refresh orb or Lincoln's? I think either way it's gonna be a good item. Maybe Lotus Orb is not bad as well. Lotus Orb essentially is Lincoln Sphere against Bane. You drop the Lotus against the Bane and the grip will immediately cancel the grip. And the Nightmare... Actually, you could Nightmare and then Bane could wake himself up from the Nightmare because he's Bane. And then he still can't grip, so... Yeah, maybe the Lotus Orb is what he's going for. I'm a big fan of supports getting... Or not supports, but... Well, at this point you could consider Earthshaker as support. I'm a big fan of support getting things like Lotus and Lincolns to keep your carries alive. Especially on a hero like Gyrocopter, who... Honestly, Lincolns will be great on him, but he just doesn't have the slot to buy it, because this game is starting to go a little bit late. Empire was ahead, and I believe in terms of gold, well, actually, the net worth is almost next to nothing. Again, Anti-Mage doing work. Look at this net worth by himself, kind of propelling the team, despite how poorly the game has been going for them. Keeper of Light actually doing very well as a support as well, and he makes it out of there. Oh, never mind. They want to fight this. Is this the right choice? They see him. Alright. And that was a daytime vision of Seal Kid. Oh, they want a little bit more. They got the blink. Ooh, blink duel. Alright, Yulson back up. Huge Echo Sonic Wave again! They fight into Empire, and Empire's got the perfect response. Silence. Right-clicking away. They kill Handskin. They kill Era as well. He's got Aegis. The blink duel. No, okay. I was gonna say that's a blink duel. Can they kill him a second time is the question. There's no mana on anybody. Era, he wants to fight this. He recognized that there's no... Oh, actually, Era, I'm not sure if fighting this is the right choice. Everybody is blinded up. Fissure, not gonna hit. Era blinks back out. He's fighting again. He can't get the heart regen thanks to the fact that there is Shadow Strike on him. They're trying to get Seal Kid. Seal Kid teleporting back out. They found Seal Kid's hiding position. That was a 5-for-1 in the favor Empire. I mean, I really like the idea of kind of you know, using global relocate. Sorry. Global teleport. Recall. Goddamn. Using recall offensively. I love that idea. And getting that kill on Ogre was excellent. But the fact, or not Ogre, on the Disruptor was excellent. But the fight afterwards is somewhat dubious. Again, multiple times now, they just fight themselves into an Echo Slam. And the call down afterwards, and you can see that the Eye of Scotty really paying off for Gyrocopter, who literally just stands in the front line, tanks like the whole team, and then go for the kill. Now, I could see why NiP is going for these fights. Remember the previous fights where they blinked? Remember LC was hiding in the trees and he blinked in for initiation? In that fight, they initiated on the Disruptor as well. And they're like, okay, we got Disruptor, let's continue the fight. Over here, they got the Disruptor kill, and they're like, okay, let's keep chasing. I think NiP feels like, okay, Disruptor is one of Empire's biggest team fighters. Because once you get rid of Disruptor, it allows Anti-Mage to move much more freely. It allows Bane to do his thing, allows Lina to do her thing. Unfortunately, I think... I mean, Disruptor is a great hero for team fights, but Earthshaker to me has done much more, and partly is thanks to NiP grouping up for those, you know, big 2-3 man Echo Slams. So maybe next time, if NiP catches the Shaker, that's where they make that play. But so far they haven't. Jesus, a string of Sentry Wards on the side of Dire. Pretty expensive. Alright, LC's got a BKB, or at least working towards an BKB. And Empire is gonna knock on the front door a little bit. Buyback check on the side of NiP. Only the Lina has it. Anti-Mage, always missing a little bit of gold. Actually, Lincoln Sphere on the side of Queen of Pain. Not exactly the most standard item of choice. I'd rather opt for a Hex, considering that you want some extra lockdown against the Anti-Mage. And Empire recognized they can't really push that quickly. Ooh, TP gets cancelled. Era though, might be a lot of trouble. Glimpse into a Static Storm. Fissure gonna be on top. Blink, Enchant, Echo. Do they actually have enough damage to chain stun him? They just don't actually have enough damage. In fact, he's fighting about this. Mana Void. Oh, on the wrong dude. Maybe actually would have got the kill. In fact, he blinks right into Silent. Silence is okay. Alright. Thanks for the kill. And call down and Rocket Barrage with right clicks. Get your job done. So, a pretty costly kill. Meanwhile, on the mid lane, Lina gets caught. Limp. Ooh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think NiP is crumbling a little bit here. As Empire is finding picks left and right. And they're looking for a little bit more. Alright. Ooh, Blink Yules. Oh, there's that Lincoln Sphere doing work. Enfeeble? Alright, Handskin's like dropping every single spell. And there's a grip right in front of Tower. General playing a little bit too close to the enemy base. And they will get the second the third successful duel. And now that LC is level, what, 16? He's getting 18 duel damage. Wow. Alright. That's a little of a ballsy fight right in front of the base. I mean, he did have Lincolns. That's fair, but... Alright, Silence like, you know what? You don't have duel anymore? Okay, I'm gonna just go on the high ground, hit your things. I got the evasion from the Talisman Evasion. I got the Bloodlust from my Ogre. And he's just killing this base. Alright, he's taking actually quite a bit of damage. Although with that said, he has like, what? Helm of Dominator, he has a Scotty. He could regen. He's fine. Does he have the full butterfly? He's got a full butterfly. Dude, what the hell is NiP's plan to actually beat this gyrocopter? I don't think he can. I mean, if Era went for a Monkey King Bar, maybe he could mano a mano. But because of the evasion and the fact that he doesn't have, you know, MKB, getting a Basher, which is normally one of AM's best item progression, it's not really an out as well. So it's gonna be AC, which is definitely one of the strangest item choice for Anti-Mage, because first of all, the attack speed, well, he doesn't really need it, because for example, if you get attack speed from Butterfly, that is going to be much better of a damage item. Armor, well, he doesn't need it either, because he's an agility hero, has really high armor values already. So I gotta say, this is more or less a team item. And I think when Anti-Mage starts getting items for the team, then that's when the team really has trouble, because normally Anti-Mage just gets items for himself and solo carries. Maybe he feels he needs more armor against that gyrocopter, which, I mean, that's fair. Alright, farming illusions. Yeah, you can see how confident Team Empire is playing. They're just farming the enemy jungle. They know that as long as they don't overextend themselves and let Anti-Mage get to free racks, right? Something that you see a team fight dragging out a little bit too long. Anti-Mage, you look back and you're like, oh, our base is gone. That's something that can happen, but I don't imagine it will happen at this level of gameplay. But if the game gets crazy enough, who knows? Alright, I think Empire should maybe go for another push. But I really like this play as well, where you just push as a team to get the wave back out. Because you could try to push mid all you want, but pushing up against a high ground, against Illuminate, overwhelming odds, blinding light, and then on the backside you had Anti-Mage constantly split pushing you in. Hard to do, and they will find Keeper of Light. Well, with Keeper of the Light then maybe they go for a push, but they also use Echo, so Team Empire is definitely not shy about using their ultimates, I can tell you that. Whole bunch of kind of big sonic waves used early, you know, just to. But yeah, I really like this play. A lot of teams would be like, oh, there's an anti-mage split pushing us. Let's just group up and try to outpush that anti-mage and draw him back. And I think that's where you lose damager in tier 3, and that's where you kind of lose racks eventually. The correct way to play this is to group up and push out the wave. And it works especially well in this game because anti-mage doesn't really have solo killing potential. He doesn't have a basher. So he can blink in and challenge a push. And now with the waves all fairly push. Ooh, courier. One hit. Blink. Alright, the courier's being micro. Yeah, with the waves all fairly push, Team Empire feels confident enough to now go into high ground. This Rax is fully exposed. Anti-Mage has to come back here or they will lose Rax. Limp is actually seen on the front line here, and Limp is going to get brought down. Cannot rely on the invisibility. Anti-Mage is going to get that tier 2, and he will get it, which is great and all, but honestly, not sure whether it's the... Well, I think more accurately, it's the only trait he could get. I don't think him teleporting into this fight will win them the game. And Empire is looking like they will just kind of run away with this game. Buyback on Limp. Are they going to get anything that they have Mana League and a Blinding Light? Silent now essentially out of mana. He doesn't have an Aegis or anything, so he might be in a little bit of trouble. Are they looking for a Blink duel? They kind of stunning him up. Well, he's got the Glimmer, and here comes a Blink duel on Aloha Dance. Aloha Dance will actually get brought down. Huge Mana Void from Era, and that's going to draw the retreat from everybody. You can see that Apathy is going to go down to Anti-Mage. That's a triple kill. That's a triple kill with the Lina buyback, though. They need more than that. They need... Well, they got a tier 2 out of it as well, but they lost a lane of racks and a tier 3. Well, I guess that's the best you could ask for when you get caught out. 2 hero got caught out. The Keeper got caught out, and then the Lina got caught out on her base. And NiP, though, desperately forcing out some buyback, or wanting to force out some buyback. Gyrocopter dead for 60 seconds. Obviously does have the buyback. Empire doesn't actually have the good counter pushing that NiP does. Well, that's the best counter pushing spell, and they just use it. And that will force about 1 buyback. I don't think they're satisfied with that just yet. Ooh, General's very, very low. Are they actually going to just lose the Rex right here? Gyrocopter's not buying back for this. LSA, they're going to try to burst everything on Era. Era, though, getting healed back up. Ooh, Lincoln's for keeping himself alive. And look at how fast he's attacking. That AC now doing a lot of work. The minus armor being propagated onto those buildings. Well, Gyro did save his buyback, but was it worth is the question. Suddenly, this becomes right back as an even game. Anti-Mage pushing fast and hard, and suddenly at 5k gold. He should drop this teleport scroll and get another item. He doesn't need TP because there's Kato. With that said, though, Kato did die before that push last fight. Starting to look like it's harder and harder to win for Team Empire. In a situation like this, you can just say, alright, Anti-Mage is doing Anti-Mage things. Let's beat where Anti-Mage is at his weakest. I think Anti-Mage has 3 very weak points. Obviously, point number 1 is he's very weak in lane. Melee hero, low HP. He doesn't have an escape, but if you have the right lane against him, he can have a tough time. Weak point number 2 is right after he picks up the Battlefield before the Manta, you can actually gank him multiple times and get him killed. And I think Anti-Mage is approaching his strongest point right now, where he picks up his Basher and is about to finish the Abyssal. Once he has Abyssal, this is where Anti-Mage is at his peak. And after that peak, I think he becomes sort of weak again. Not to say he's a bad carry hero, but a big part of Anti-Mage's strength is to close out the game early. And if you can't close out the game early, that's where heroes like Gyrocopter and even Queen of Pain could take over. Queen of Pain walks forward with the Aegis, yields them up in the air, and they're just threatening to take a high ground. Earthshaker on the back line. But speaking of back line, they're coming in. They're looking for a duel. They see YOLO Warrior, and they brought him down. No big echo. That is the fight that team NiP is looking for. Limp, though, gets brought down. I want to save that, though. Big grip here, keeping Silent from doing damage. They get the Anti-Mage back in. Anti-Mage somewhat confused in terms of what he wants to right-click. He's right-clicking away, hitting creeps right now. Era needs to blink back out. He's getting mini-stun. He's getting stun. Empire brings back the Anti-Mage. Can they get the glimpse off? Hanskin running away. They go forward. Johannes Fan in a lot of trouble. Johannes Fan is going to get dead as well. No, he actually will survive. Blink forward from Hanskin. They get one kill. They also see Aloha Dance. Do they have detection is the question. I think they have a gem somewhere. Yes, they have the gem. And alright, they brought back the Bane. There's a gem just hanging out on the ground next to all those flagpoles. And yet another time where, well, the team fight kind of went everywhere. NiP did get a very good initiation from the backline. Okay. General playing with fire there, because one or two more hits, Mana Void would have got the kill. Yeah, NiP got a very good start of the fight. They killed the Earthshaker, which is a big part of their control as well as their damage output. And then Anti-Mage just got brought down. And then buybacks happened. So, I mean, NiP are winning these fights, but they've never forced Gyro to buy back. And they bought back, I want to say, 2 lives in that fight. So that's not looking good. And now there's a Satanic on the Gyro. So I don't think Gyro can be handled. Unless Anti-Mage has an MKB next. Which, well, if he wants MKB, he has to sell something. At this point, Anti-Mage is officially 6-slotted. Well, he doesn't have this, the Abyssal Blade yet. You know, the funny thing is, I'm not sure how many of you guys watched me like 5-6 years ago, but and it just shows you how little understanding that I had on the game. When Abyssal Blade first came out, I was like, oh man, this item is terrible, because if you look at the stats on Abyssal Blade, it's a stun and a melee range. And then at the time, I was thinking, all right, if you why would you ever get Abyssal Blade? Why don't you just get a Hex, right? Mislooking at two very crucial point. The fact that it goes through BKB is a huge vital point. But with that said, this time, this game, there's really not many BKB buyers on the side of Empire, so not going to be that important. And the fact that Abyssal does 1 billion damage. All right, backstab happening again. Limp kind of coming in. I'm not sure. He does have BKB. He's playing a little bit aggressive. They're pinging Limp out. There's also Invis Quap, and well, they could do this all they want, but there's a Gyro on the high ground. They kind of have to go in right now. Blink. Well, they're gonna find Limp. Well, never mind. All right, Hanskin gets blown up, and so does Seal Kid. Limp a lot of trouble. He gets Glimmer, so he's fine. Meanwhile, Johannes Fan, well, he's getting Gyro Scotty, so he's gonna get brought down as well. There's a buyback, and now Era in a lot of trouble. Can he get out of there? Well, no, there's a grip, and they're gonna go back on Silent, and right now the right click onto huge Mana Void. He's gonna do so much AoE damage. Silent's right clicking away. He does have the Satanic, and they will kill Era. Era doesn't have buyback. If he dies, Era's so close to death, but he's still alive. Limp is right clicking. He's already got the buyback. He's trying to get the heart to regen, but again, the poison keeping him dead, and Era blinks back out. He's okay. He's back in the base. Meanwhile, okay, Hanskin's gonna die for a second time. General comes back in. And I believe, ooh, Sonic Wave's gonna bring him so low. It's gonna buy another South. And meanwhile, the melee racks is gonna go down the mid lane. That fight was so damn close. But Satanic, man, what an item. Bring him back up, and you gotta keep in mind that NiP has used basically every one of their resources when it comes to buyback. Well, apparently Lina had one left, and they're gonna try to defend this with just Era and Lina. I'm not sure whether that's just possible. I mean, Anti-Mage is a strong hero, but right now, they're gonna get Megas. Alright, Limp. Okay, well, he's trying to... He's got Abyssal Gold. Call down's gonna get used, and call down is gonna hit on Lim. LSA will hit as well, and they're doing a lot of damage. Here comes Anti-Mage trying to get the kill. Immediate Hex though. Great Hex on Era, and now Silent. He's using the Satanic, gaining a lot of HP. In fact, he wants to blink back in, and he gets a very critical kill. Lim's dropping low. They're pinging him out. There's a buyback coming out from the Gyrocopter. YOLO Warrior is gonna get brought down as well. Where's the duel? Duel, I believe, has already been used. Alright, that's 2 kill going on. Mid lane though, Gyrocopter did TP back in. And good thing that he didn't get picked off. And right now, the Radiant team is running back home. Alright, that was close as hell. I mean, right now NiP is defending, sort of. But they're using so many buybacks. And the only racks they have left is the top range racks. And the range racks doesn't regen. So, I don't know how this game is going to be won by NiP. If it's going to be won. But, I mean, Anti-Mage is a special hero. He could do some special things. So I think at this point, Anti-Mage save for buyback, but he's not buyback for 2 minutes, so. Yeah, normally you say you go BOTs, but BOTs is actually worse than treads at this point in game because you have a Coddle. So yeah, I guess you just keep your treads, farm buyback, wait 2 minutes so you have buyback, and then do something magical. Because I just don't see it. But definitely NiP not giving up yet. They have a lot of single damage bursts. They have a lot of control. And as long as they don't get picked off, it could be good. Limp walking up a hill. This is so aggressive. I'm not sure if you want to do this. What the hell's going on over here? They're finding an Era, but Era's going to get called back right into this fight. Well, there's Silent right-clicking away. Era, though, doing a lot of work. They see the Ogre, big Mana Void. No big Mana Void being used. Manta Style, nicely done here. They do up Silent. Oh, Silent's dead. He does not have buyback. That's huge. 2 minutes without their biggest and baddest hero, Gyrocopter. Ogre Magi is going to die as well. Meanwhile, though, the General gets up the Mega Creeps on the top lane. A little bit of backdoor Rax action. And NiP's got to go for it here, I think. Okay, I think what they're going to do is have Era defend and then port him back in with Keeper of Light. Okay, that's the better play here. Well, the thing is, how is Anti-Mage going to defend 2 lanes on the opposite side? Meanwhile, you can see that General on the back line trying to get a little bit backstabbing. Are they going to go for the throne is the question. This could be very bad. Oh, they're going to go for the throne. Yeah, they have to go for the throne. They're going to start hitting the throne. Where's the recall back in? Oh, on the back line, some Queen of Pain is doing something. All right, there's a recall back in. Anti-Mage is back in the fight. He's blinking forward. He's got the AC, which is actually somewhat helpful. He just charges forward. He doesn't care. 1 minute dead till Gyrocopter is alive. Or actually 70 seconds to be more accurate. And they're going for the Rex. Look at the throw. It's dying so quickly. Can't they actually do anything? The blinding line pushing back General. They're ignoring this Queen of Pain. Huge Echo Slam onto 2. They see Hanskin. Hanskin glimmers himself. Tower giving a little bit of vision. He nightmares himself. Cancel the nightmare. He should be fine. Era, there's a buyback on Queen of Pain. The last line of defenses is dead. And BKB Limp is right-clicking away. Blink Enchant Totem against Limp. The Anti-Mage. Who's handling the Anti-Mage? They gotta kill the Anti-Mage. They're bursting him down. Anti-Mage also does not buyback. Does he have buyback? Yes, he does have buyback. He does not BOT. Johannes Fan is gonna survive the throw at 130 HP. At 35 HP. 39 HP. He survived the throw. Survives at 45 HP. There's buyback available. Okay, Anti-Mage buyback. There is a versus buyback on the Johannes Fan as well. Double buyback, and they have to start defending the base. It is truly Defense of the Ancients right here. And you can see that Team Empire, they're so scared. They're just hugging the base. They know that the backdoor is a possibility. And there's just versus circles everywhere. There's projectile animation everywhere. And Johannes Fan, I think he's just going for it. But there is backdoor base regen. Johannes Fan, he's trying to walk across the map, but he's gonna get scouted by this Observer Ward. If he dies here, that's gonna be huge. He does not have buyback. BKB's down for 5 seconds. They're gonna go on him. Okay, no, they glimpse him back. That's actually helpful. He now has BKB. He needs a BKB, but there's a TP in. That's the Anti-Mage. You don't want to mess with that immediate Glimmer Cape. Anti-Mage is going for it. There's a base throne race right now. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? I'm gonna look at this throne. Meanwhile, the base is dead, and oh my god! The base dies on the dire side. What a freaking base race. And Empire barely holds on as they win the base race at what, like 5 HP. My god, what a game. GG is being called. I gotta say, that was some questionable fights. Well, it's epic because it was questionable fights. There was in the river fight, and Silent got caught out, and you know, he thought he was very invincible, and honestly he was. He got Butterfly, he got Satanic, he got Monkey King bar and he's hitting hard. And he's got his team Lincoln's fearing him, but somehow they got, I guess, a big monovoid, and they just brought him down. He was dead for 70, and good job on NiP just going for the win, because that was the only play for the win. Unfortunately for them, maybe a miss right click, maybe some of the min-max damage. I don't know what it is, but Empire clutching it out with a reverse base race at the end. Whew, that was the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that game, and hopefully the quality of the cast as well as the technical audio / video quality is good enough for you guys. Give me more feedback, because I'm always looking to improve, and I'm gonna give you guys more pro and pub commentaries in the future. But I'm gonna sign off this time, drink some water, relax a little bit, because that was some intense Doto. Alright, I'll see you guys in a couple days with more replay. I think Envy said you want to do a couple of casts with me, so that should be fun. But yep, with that said, I'm gonna sign off, and until next time, this is Luminous. GG guys.